Welcome back to the channel. As you guys seen on my channel earlier, Dave Tippett got fired and Jim Playfair actually got relieved of his duties too. So Dave Manson and Jay Woodcroft will be coaches for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, that's in that video. Go check that out. Now let's get back to the real topic here, as in we got some injury news from last night. After tests and assessments, Duncan Keith will be out 2 to 4 weeks on concussion protocol and upper body soreness. That collision was hard, knocked him out. Saw it on camera, his eyes were closed. So hopefully he gets better. Also, Zach Kassian took a puck in the face last night. He has a fractured jaw, will be out 4 to 8 weeks with that fractured jaw. Now, that's the injury news. So let's get into who's going to be coming up. If Russell's not ready to go anytime soon, I could see Slater Cuckoo coming back up. Maybe Proberg. That's a hit or miss. Or Niemelainen might be ready. That would fill in Duncan Keith. Now, you might say, okay, what about Zach Kassian? Because those will be going on. At least Kassian will be going on the LTIR for sure. Not too sure about Keith yet. But who's going to come up for Kassian? And you guys might say, well, there's Sevier, there's Turris, Benson can slot in. Yes, Benson can slot in. But we don't know what Jay Woodcroft has in mind or in store. He's probably still trying to figure that out himself. But I was on the phone with Dolany TV earlier, and he brought up an interesting name, Cooper Marody. Now, you guys might say, well, why would we bring him up? Well, let's just look back and think about this. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But before Benson and McLeod were NHLers, Bakersfield's first line was McLeod, Benson, Marody, and they were one of the best lines in the AHL for a few years. Now, I'm not saying they're going to come up and be the best line in the NHL. No. But having that line back with the chemistry they have under what Jay Woodcroft can bring to this team strategy-wise, having a line that knows how you coach is way better than trying to mix a line to get them to get chemistry and also learning how you like to coach. So Cooper Marody could be another possibility coming up as well, or another defenseman just to give us 7 defensemen on the roster. Now let's put all the injury news, speculations, and that sorts aside. If Kassian does go to the LTIR, and if it is as long as 8 weeks, that puts Kassian back on April 10th, I believe it is. Yeah, today's the 10th. So April 10th, April 11th, around that time frame. Well, April 9th is the last game he would miss, and the first game would be April 12th. Now, for say his injury goes farther than 8 weeks, and say he misses the rest of the regular season. I'm not saying he is, but let's put it in theory here that he might actually miss the rest of the season, because by that point, there's only 9 games left. Well, you put him on LTIR, here, get the mind thinking, there's $3.2 million in salary cap room. All of a sudden now you got about $5.5 million in salary cap room because of LTIR money that you have left, and while putting Zach Kassian on. Well, now that changes everything as an Oilers standpoint. Sorry about that. That changes everything. Do you go get a goalie now? I like Stuart Skinner. Don't get me wrong. Stuart Skinner, Jay Woodcroft has coached him really good. We do have Skinner. But if we're going to go for an experienced goalie, you milk Zach Kassian's injury like Tampa Bay did with Nikita Kucherov, like Chicago did when they won Stanley Cups with Brandon Saad, I think it was, and whoever, I think it was Andrew Ladd. They milked those injuries until playoffs, because when playoffs show up, there is no salary cap. You could have whoever on your roster, essentially. Now, that goes back to the point as if you trade for a goalie, you just tell Zach Kassian, hey, look, this is our plan. we want you healed up, because of course that's the first priority. Is Zach Kassian healed up? But maybe, you give him the extra time off. He's practicing in a non-contact jersey for the last 9 games. Whatever, that's like 18 days, I think it is in there. Or less than that, I think it's like 17. And you go and get a goalie. Well, that solves your salary cap room for this year. Go get a rental. We did it with Dwayne Rollison. And, go get a goalie that can help this team win before the deadline. And we're talking Stanley Cup playoffs. That's a theory. That could potentially be what happened, as you don't like to see guys go get hurt, especially guys like Keith and Kassian. That Keith brings the leadership to the room. Kassian brings the toughness, likes to hit, and can put the occasional puck in the net, which he has been robbed of about 5 times this year on the same play. But in a sense, if you're looking to make the Stanley Cup playoffs, and Kassian is a team guy, he might go with that. As you see, Koskinen just gets beat glove side. What else is new on this? You might be able to go get a goalie now. Now, that's just my thinking. We could speculate all we want. Ken Holland has final decision. But if you do put Zach Kassian on LTIR to the end of the season, because of that fractured jaw, you never know. Because he could, with the fractured jaw, it's hard to say what's going to happen, because they're saying 4 to 8 weeks. Well, I'm sorry, but a 4-week gap is insane. And with your jaw, you never know if it's going to heal right. You go and do something, sleep funny even. I had a buddy with a fractured jaw. He slept funny, and his jaw was 2 more weeks time frame from what the doctors gave him. It's a possibility that could happen to Zach Kassian. So you never know with this type of injury what's going to happen and whatnot. And it could mean a potential trade that Holland does get some more cap room for the Edmonton Oilers without having to really trade anyone, in a sense that if you have to give up your first round pick for a guy that's going to help us get to the second and third rounds and potentially win us a Stanley Cup, I'm sorry, but if it was me, you got to do it. But that's it for today. That is the injury news from the Edmonton Oilers. Kassian, 48 weeks. Duncan Keith, 2 to 4 weeks. Stay tuned for any more news. The NBA trade deadline was today. The Raptors made a solid move for Thaddeus Young. If you're a Raptors fan, that's huge. But that is it. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the warm weather. This wind's getting kind of ridiculous. But I'll catch you on the next one.